Hi everyone, this is Attorney Lilian with Lily Legal, where I help my clients get green cards and citizenships for themselves and their families using the U.S. immigration law system. So today we are going to be talking all about applying for the diversity visa lottery program, how to apply, where to apply, and how long you have to put in your application. Okay, we are going to be going over all of that. I wanted to cover this topic because this particular type of visa is near and dear to my heart. This visa made it possible for me to now be a US citizen. I came to the US because of the diversity lottery program. My dad actually got the visa, won the lottery, and was able to get the visa, come to the US, and then file for us to come at a later time. So, this program is, like I said, something that's near and dear to my heart. And I love talking about it. I love answering your questions. Please, 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 if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Even if you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and put your questions in the comments. In the description to this video, I did put in the link that you would need to go and apply for this program, because I want to make sure that you have everything you need right there before you so that you're not looking for it. Okay, I put in the exact place where you need to click to start your application. All right, if you have questions, go ahead and ask, but we are just going to get started. Like I said, I love talking about this, and I want to go through what you need to know. So, what you need to know, one, is that the lottery is open, right? The application is open. If you want to apply for the visa lottery and you qualify, aka your country is on the list of countries that can get the lottery, go ahead and start putting in your application. Like I said, the link to the application is in the description to this video. Okay, so you have until November 8th, 2022 at 12 p.m., 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, okay? Eastern Standard Time. So that's US Eastern Standard Time. You have until 12 o'clock p.m. on November 8th, 2022 to put in your applications, okay? If you put in your applications after that, you're not going to get in, okay? You are not going to get in if you are applying, if you're trying to apply after November 8th at 12 p.m. It's just not going to happen, okay? It closes on that date at that time. So if you want to apply, if you are on the list of countries, go ahead, go ahead and put in your application, because I'm telling you, it works. Okay. And I am proof that it works. All right. So, things to keep in mind as you're putting in your application. If your name, if your name shows up more than once, right? If your name shows up more than once, you are going to be disqualified. So, only fill out the application one time per season. So what does that mean, season? So every single year, the diversity lottery program opens up for you to put in your application. When that season opens, when that application season opens, you can only apply one time. If you apply more than once, if you apply more than once, you will be automatically disqualified. Okay? The system will kick your name out. So it's not whether you qualify or whether the system is going to select you. If your name is in there more than once, you are automatically out. automatically out. So please, please, please make sure you're only filling it in once, and put your confirmation number in a safe place. All right. So I see a question in the chat about a travel. Can I travel on my advanced parole? I can't really tell you whether you cannot travel on advanced parole. If you have it, it's there for you to travel, but whether there's any immigration consequences for you traveling, I cannot tell you because I don't know your personal history. So just if there's any so typically if there's any criminal records or anything of that sort that can make you inadmissible or make it hard for you to come back to the US, I would suggest talking to an immigration lawyer first before you travel. But generally, if you have advanced parole, you are allowed to travel outside of the US. Whether you should or not is something you need to discuss with your immigration attorney. Okay? So that is, yeah. So it really just depends on your particular situation, whether it's advisable. I can't, of course, advise you on it because I am not your lawyer and I do not know your personal history. But generally, if you have advanced parole, you should be able to travel if there's no other factors that make it bad for you to travel. Okay? So, like I mentioned before with the DV lottery, you want to enter your application one time. You want to keep your confirmation number in a safe place. So when you fill out the application, it gives you a confirmation number. Please, please, please keep that confirmation number because that's how you're going to be able to check whether you were picked for the lottery. Okay, so when you put in your information, you get a confirmation number. Then, starting May 6th, 2023, you are able to put in your confirmation number and see if you were selected. Okay, so that is really important that you do not misplace your confirmation number. Keep it in a safe place. That's the first, that's the important thing here. Keep it in a safe place. So the question now is who can apply for the lottery? Right? Who can apply? A lot of countries can apply. So it's easier, right? Instead of me telling you the countries that cannot, that can apply, because there's so many, I'm going to tell you the countries that cannot apply. All right. So the countries that cannot apply are Bangladesh, Brazil, Canada, China, including Hong Kong, Colombia, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Haiti, Honduras, India, Jamaica, Mexico, Nigeria, Pakistan, Philippines, Republic of Korea, South Korea specifically, United Kingdom, except for Northern Ireland and its dependent territories, Venezuela, and Vietnam. Okay, so just those are the countries that cannot apply. Note that Macau and Taiwan can apply. All right, so even though it may seem like they're included in the ones that cannot, those specific territories can apply. Now, like I said, there's a lot more countries that can apply than the ones that cannot. The ones that cannot apply is because they already have more than 50,000 natives of the country that immigrated to the US in the previous 5 years. Okay, so that means in the previous 5 years, there were more than 50,000, Brazilians that immigrated to the US, more than 50,000 Nigerians that immigrated to the US. So because of that, they are not eligible. Okay, so if that changes, if in the next 5 years, there's less than 50,000 people from those countries that immigrate to the US, and that includes through family, work, all of those, right? If there's less than 50,000, they could be put back on the list. So every year you really want to look at if your country is on the list. All right. So one, you have to be from that country. You have to be a native of one of those countries. If you are not a native of one of those countries, you can still technically apply if you meet one of these two things, right? If your spouse is a native of one of those countries on the list of countries that can apply, right? Then you can claim your spouse's country of birth. So if you are from Nigeria, but your spouse is from Ghana, right, you can claim your spouse's country of birth. So you can claim Ghana as your country of birth, provided that you and your spouse are named on the selected entry, right? And you and your spouse have to be found eligible for the visa and enter the US at the same time. So those are the requirements. If your spouse is a native of a country that's on the list, but your own country is not on the list, right? You can still apply if you two are selected, you're eligible, both of you are eligible for the visa and are issued the visa, and both of you enter at the same time, enter the United States at the same time. Right. Another way you could get it if your country is not on the list is if you are a native of a country, if your parents, I'm sorry, if your parents were born in one of those countries. Okay. So just keep that in mind. It's really important that you don't automatically assume that you are not on the list. Okay. Even if it says specifically that your country is not, right? Even if it says, for example, I'm going to use Nigeria because I'm from Nigeria, right? Nigeria is not on the list. Nigerians cannot apply for the diversity lottery program. But if the Nigerian is married to, let's say, a Kenyan, right, they can claim that their country of birth is Kenya, as long as they apply with their spouse, they get the visa with their spouse, and they enter the US with their spouse. Okay, so that is the requirement there. Hi, Daniel from Kenya. Welcome. Hey, Kenya is on the list of countries that can apply for the diversity lottery. So get your application in. You never know. Get your application in. And I'll tell you exactly what you need for the application as well. So in order to apply, you have to meet the second requirement is that you have either the education or work experience, right? So education is that you have high school education or its equivalent. So high school is a 12-year course. So elementary school and secondary school education. So you have graduated from secondary school. There's no requirement that you are in university. That is not a requirement. So if you have a high school diploma, so you graduated from secondary school, you can apply, right? You just need to have that proof of your secondary school education. All right. Or you have 2 years of work experience within the past 5 years. Okay, 2 years of work experience within the past 5 years. So it's either you have graduated from secondary school, high school, or you have 2 years of work experience within the past 5 years. So if you have either of those, you are good to go. If you do not meet either of these requirements, then think about how you can set yourself up for the future, right? Remember, I said this happens every single year. And if you do not have your secondary school education completed, but you have been working, but you've only been working for a year, make sure you you continue to work to get your 2 years of experience. Or if in the future you want to apply, these are the things you need to have in place. So start working towards it, so that when you have your 2 years of experience or you have your secondary school education completed, you can then apply. All right. So just because you don't qualify today doesn't mean you're not going to qualify a year from now or 2 years from now. All right. So those are the only requirements. All right. Those are the only requirements. One is that you're from a country that is on the list, right? That's number one. And number two is that you either have your secondary school education or you have 2 years of work experience within the past 5 years. That's it. That is literally the requirements. There's no requirement that you have, a lot of money. There's no requirement that you have a business. There's no requirement that you have a high-paying job. None of that. Okay, those are the only two requirements. Now, make sure you apply on time. All right. Remember, I said that Tuesday, November 8th, 2022 is the deadline. Okay. Try not to wait the week of November 8th. Don't, try not to wait a week before. Do it as early as possible. Remember, there is no paper application. You have to do it online. This is something you can actually do on your phone. Okay. So if you're watching this, you can apply for the visa lottery. Okay. You should make sure that you do not submit more than one application because that automatically disqualifies you. So if the system sees your name, date of birth, information more than once, it's going to just take it and put it in the trash and not even consider you for the lottery. So make sure you are only entering it once. Okay. So now, if you want to apply for the lottery, just make sure you read the instructions. Okay. But I'm going to go over what you need to include in your application, what you need to have before you even start, what information you need to have. Now, if you enter any of the required information incorrectly, right? If you make a mistake on the date of birth, if you put in the wrong city of birth, if you put in anything that I'm about to tell you incorrectly, you would be automatically ineligible for the program. Okay, so even if you get selected, hear me now. If you put any of the information I'm about to go through incorrectly and you are selected, you are not getting the visa because that is included here. If you put in any information incorrectly or if you omit information, you are not getting the visa, even if you get selected for the lottery. Okay. So the first thing is your name, your last name, your first name, your middle name. It has to be exactly as it appears on your passport. If you have a passport, remember, this application does not require you to have a passport to apply. Okay. So just keep that in mind. If you only have one name, just put it in the place that says last/family name. Okay. So remember, it wants your last name, your first name, and your middle name, exactly as as it appears on your passport. Or if you're going to be getting a passport, make sure it matches exactly what you put on the application. Your date of birth, your city of birth, your country of birth. Remember, all of this um, has to be correct. Okay. Now, this is the place where you were born, not the place where you are, a citizen or that you're a permanent resident or you have residency or you have a visa. Okay. This is where you were born. So if you are currently like in some European country going to school and that's not the country you were born in, make sure that you don't put that country. Okay? Remember, everything has to match. Think about it this way: get your passport, look at your passport, make sure that every single thing on your passport matches what you're putting on this. Okay? So, country of eligibility, you have to put what country are you saying that you're born, that you're from. If it is different from your country of birth, that is fine, right? Remember, your country of eligibility is not the same or does not have to be the same as where you live or where you are a citizen of. So remember, I said before, it's either your country is on the list, and if your country is not on the list, if your spouse is from a country that's on the list, you can use your spouse's country of birth for the eligibility. So this is where that really matters. So if you're a Nigerian married to a Kenyan, right, and you're applying for this, you would put for the country of eligibility Kenya instead of Nigeria, because Nigeria is not on the list. Nigerians cannot get the DV lottery unless it's through a spouse. Okay. Now you have to upload a photo that's taken within the past 6 months. So if you are including, so let me make sure this is clear. You need to upload a photo for your children and your spouse. So let's say you're married with 2 kids. You are uploading your own photo, your spouse's photo, and your photos for your 2 kids. There are apps, right? For people that are like, oh, I have to go for someone to take the picture and blah. No, there's apps that you can download on your phone that makes it easy to literally have your spouse, have your children stand against a white or cream colored wall, line up the app, line up your phone, take the picture. All right. So you can make it easier on yourself. And that's really the point of all of this. I want this to be as easy as possible for you. So that's what you can do for the picture. Download the app for the passport photos and use that to take the picture. Or go to a photographer that can get you a digital copy of the picture, right? Whichever one that will be easiest for you, do it. But make sure that you include all your children and all and your spouse, right? If you're married, include your spouse. If you have children, include your children. You need to have a mailing address, okay? You need to put the country where you currently live. If you have a phone number, you should add your phone number. If you have an email, actually, this is not optional. You need to put an email. Okay, you need to have an email address. You need to have an email address that you are going to put in there. But note that you're not going to be getting an email telling you that you got selected for the program. That's what your confirmation number is for. So when it comes May next year and you want to check if you were selected, you need your confirmation number. Your email is not going to help you figure it out. Your confirmation number is what's going to do that for you. Okay. You need to select your highest level of education, right? If that's if you have any. You need to say whether you are currently married. Please, 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 please. I don't even know how else to say this. If you are currently married, select that you're married. Okay? I have so many people that come to me after they win the lottery and they've come to the US with a visa, and now they want to file for a spouse that they had before they apply for the lottery. But the thing is, You would now qualify for the lottery if you leave out your spouse, which means you should not have gotten the green card in the first place. Okay, so it is going to be very hard for you to then apply for any spouse or children that you leave out of your application. So make sure that you include all your children and your spouse if you're married. Okay? If you are from a country that allows for multiple marriages, so polygamy, you can only include one spouse on your application. Sorry, the other ones will just have to stay there. You can only include one spouse. Okay. If you fail to include your spouse or your children, you are automatically disqualified. So please, 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 if you have children, if you have a spouse, include them. Like I said, once you put in all your information and you get your confirmation number, you have to go back on May, let me get you the date, starting on May 6th, 2023. You can go in and see if you got selected. Starting May 6th, 2023, you can go in and see if you got selected. All right. If you do get selected, congratulations. The next step now is to apply for either a visa or a green card if you are in the US. So if you are outside of the US, you'll start the visa process. If you are in the US, you can apply for adjustment of status if you are currently in a legal status. So I'll give you an example of what a legal status is. If you are in the US on an F1 visa and you are attending school, doing everything you're supposed to do for your student visa program, and you happen to win the diversity lottery, you do not have to go back to your home country to apply for a visa. You can actually apply for adjustment of status in the US and be able to get your green card here. Okay. The thing to keep in mind is your window. Your window is from, you basically have until September 30th of 2024 to get your visa or to get your green card. So from May 6th, 2023 to September 30th, 2024. That's your window to get your visa or your green card. If you do not have a visa in hand or your green card in hand by that date of September 30th, 2024, you missed your window. You're not getting a visa, even though you were selected. Okay, so it is really important that you do not delay if you win the lottery, and that you move as quickly as possible. I had some of my clients that, they were selected, but their number was so high that we were cutting it close. But the good thing about, they were in the US, we were able to do expedite requests, get their applications processed really quickly, and get them their green cards in hand before September 30th, 2022, because they won the previous year. So it is so important that you keep that in mind as you're going through this process. Remember, for the photos, they really want you to make sure that you are including the appropriate size photos. That's why I say there's apps for US passport photos that you can use to make sure you have the right sizing. Remember, it is 2x2, so 2 inches by 2 inches, or for my metrics people, 51 millimeters by 51 millimeters. Okay, that's important. If you have babies or toddlers, they need their photos too. Okay, if you have babies or toddlers that you need to include on your application, you need to take their picture too. So I have I have a baby and I have a toddler. So I know how hard it is to get them in, um, to stay still for a picture. But you have to just do it. Okay, so start working on the required things. Remember the things that are required. You're from the country that's on the list. You are either a high school graduate, or you have worked 2 years in the last 5 years, and you have the pictures of yourself, your spouse, and your children ready to upload. You have all their information, date of birth, name, all of that ready to go. Make sure that the name that you're putting in, remember, last name is your surname. Okay, last name is your surname, your family name. That's what goes in there. Your first name, of course, your first name. Make sure that you have, if you have a passport, that you are basically copying the information from your passport, and you're not mixing up your first name and middle name, or your last name and first name. No, be careful. Pay attention as you're putting in this information. And as always, if you have any questions as you're doing this, feel free to ask. You can always comment on this video. I am happy to respond to you. You have a very short window of opportunity to apply for this. So please, please, please do not delay, do not wait. Go through, at least go to the website that's in the description to this video. I try to make it really easy for y'all. The website is in the description to this video. Go there and start the process, right? At least see what it is. Let me see if I can actually, let me put the website on the screen as well, so that you're not even having to think about it. Okay, let's copy this. Yo, it's been a long week. Bear with me for a second. Let's add that. All right. So that is the website. That is the website. There's no other websites. Okay. There are people out there that that will steer you wrong. Okay. If any website ends in .com, .whatever, please, if it is not this website, you are on the wrong site. Okay. If it's not this website that's on the screen right now, you are on the wrong site. So again, it's in the description. It's right here. Go ahead, apply. Like I said, I'm sorry. Some countries cannot apply, but if you are part of the countries that can, take advantage of it, okay? And just to let you know, the countries that cannot apply unless they meet the other requirements, for example, having a spouse that's from an eligible country, then they can apply. These countries that cannot apply, that are not eligible, are Bangladesh, Brazil, Canada, China, including Hong Kong, Colombia, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Haiti, Honduras, India, Jamaica, Mexico, Nigeria, Pakistan, Philippines, Republic of Korea, South Korea, United Kingdom, except for Northern Ireland, Venezuela, and Vietnam. Macau and Taiwan are eligible. Okay, so those countries are the ones that cannot apply unless they meet other requirements. If you happen to be, if your country was not listed in the countries that I just named, you can apply. You qualify. So go ahead and put in your application. And like I said, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. I am happy to respond to you. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time and watching this video. If you would like to schedule a private consultation with me, you can do that by going to my website, lilylegal.com. And you can also call my office at 508-443-1788. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time. And remember, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you know people that need to hear this, basically everyone, right? Everyone that's outside of the US or that doesn't have and wants to come to the US. All right, should be applying for this if their country qualifies. So share this video with them. If you are watching in a place where you can subscribe and you do not want to miss any of my uploads, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And as always, I am Lilian Chukura. I am the owner and attorney at Lily Legal, where we do immigration law and we do it well. Bye for now.